All right, so I could look into how we can deal with work anxiety because this is something where I have. Well, me used to have an issue with it. Some days it's better than others, but I've improved quite a lot in terms of dealing with work anxiety because in the past I used to get heart palpitations, upset stomach when I'm going to work, which was not very healthy to be honest. And it used to happen for months, like literal months of dealing with that. And it's not until recently I actually go through it and I'm able to deal with it a little bit better now. So we can probably go through some of the things that has helped me to deal with it. And one of the main things, we can pretty much just start off right now. One of the main things is what I would consider closing my loops from the previous day. So, as much as possible, what I would try to do is ensure that whatever I need to have completed for tomorrow, I do it today so that I'm not going home thinking that, oh, shoot, I need to, I still have this to finish up tomorrow. I mean, granted, it's not gonna always be the case because some projects or whatever it is can take weeks. So there are going to be tasks that are prolonged, but in general, as much as possible, just try to close the loops. If you have, emails to respond to, just respond to them on the very same day if you know it's gonna cause you some anxiety if you don't respond. So do that, close the loop, reply to the email. If there's a file or a report that you need to send the report so you don't have to think that, maybe they're going to escalate because I didn't send it yesterday. Things like that. Close your loops before you end the day. That is definitely one of the main things that has helped. And it kind of ties into the next point, which is you need to be predictive in what you're expecting for the next day. So for me, for example, I do like scheduling work and I'm graded based on, efficiency to see how well I'm doing the schedules and everything. So if I know that I have a review on Wednesday, on Monday and Tuesday, I know for sure that, all right, I need this to be done before Wednesday because I don't want to have the anxiety of looking over and hearing that, oh, your efficiency isn't good. Because I actually take pride in what I do. So I want to make sure that it's done properly. But I used to get anxiety because sometimes I might not have it done by Wednesday. I might be having some issues. So it's things like that where you want to ensure that you are prepared for the day in terms of deliverables that you need to take care of. So just ensure that you have them covered before your deadline, and then it's a lot easier to handle once the day comes. And then for making sure you close the loops, handling your projects, making sure that you close them out before the delivery date. The next thing is to communicate any challenges that you have ahead of time. So maybe there's something that's hindering you. Maybe there's a blocker for something. And this is just from an accountability standpoint. So again, for me, if I'm having some scheduling issues or whatever it is, I need to make it known ahead of time so people are aware that I'm having this problem, so that if something does come up, I can simply say, hey, I brought this to you yesterday. So, if you can fix it, then we wouldn't have this issue. A lot of times I used to keep things to myself. And then when it blows up, I'm like, oh yeah, but I was actually having this issue. And then, it's always like, so why didn't you tell someone? That's nobody's fault but my own. So point number 3, if you have issues with anything that's preventing you from doing your work efficiently, you make it known. I don't really have any issues with dealing with persons, like specific people in general, because I'm pretty chill. I don't really get intimidated by higher leadership or, anyone even at a lower level. Like, it's just, we're all just people. So I don't have anxiety because I have to deal with a specific person. It's more so, am I doing what I'm supposed to do properly? And if I'm not, then I get the anxiety. So if you're like me in that regard, then, these 3 steps should help as much as it did for me. So I hope that it can work for you. But for anxiety in terms of dealing with specific people, I mean, you can probably take a page out of my book and just realizing that, all this higher leadership stuff, like, we're just people. Yeah, you have a higher title than me, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna, take a shit at the end of the day. You still sleep, you still eat, you still have troubles in your life. We still all have the same problems, really, or it's the same thing. Like, yeah, you might make a little bit more money than me, but you're still human. You're still gonna die. You're like, everything is exactly the same. Of course there's some caveat to that, but we're all just people. So there's no real need to say, oh, I'm so anxious to talk to this person. I genuinely don't have that issue. I know other people might have, fears of talking with leadership or explaining certain things to certain people. But what has helped me is realizing that, one, other people make mistakes. You're not the only person that can make a mistake. And funny enough, if other people make mistakes, you kind of give them the grace to say, oh, you're just human. But you don't give yourself that same grace, So treat people that give you anxiety like they're also just people. They're no better than you. They're no more important than you. So, that should at least help a little bit with the anxiety, but that should be it. It has helped me a lot with going to work and dealing with what I have to deal with. Of course, there are things here and there that, kind of shake me up a little bit, and it makes me wonder, like, am I doing this correctly? Things like that will happen, but it's not so gut-wrenching when, you feel like fainting when you're going into the building or you're joining a meeting. It's not that bad once you have everything prepared. So if you if you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail. That's a good saying to kind of go about your work day. So just always try to make sure that you are prepared so that you don't fail. And that should pretty much take care of most of the anxiety issues that you might have. So if these helped, then, that's good. You can drop a like, comment if any one of these, you think can help. And subscribe and, wait for the next video. So, bye-bye.